everybody, I'm Quinn.
And I'm Scott, and it's time for the Almost Friday show for January 26th, 2012.
Kicking it off and off the press. We're taking a look at Command and Conquer on the web.
Yeah, because that's possible now.
Apparently.
You don't need, 4 megabytes of RAM
And like...
and an 18.8 dial-up connection to play it anymore.
And like 20 megabytes of hard disk space.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's like this much.
Yeah, it's exactly that much, actually.
So now you can play it in your browser, and there's a lot more gaming. It's kind of like a random... Oh, look, lots of gaming news this week.
Yeah.
In Tech Insight, we're telling you about the piles and piles of money that Apple has.
It's true.
Which we can quantify now. It's not a mystical figure.
No.
And the shakeup at RIM. There's a new CEO in town, and we're telling you why that's probably not a good thing.
They've slayed the two-headed dragon. Yeah, pretty much like that.
Yeah.
That's what went down.
Yeah, I thought so.
Heads will roll.
They have.
Indeed. In Science this week, we're taking a look at stem cells fixing eye sockets. Or just eyes in general. Or something in the ocular area.
The ocular area describes the eyes.
Yeah. So, it's in this range. Somewhere here.
Yes.
But with stem cells.
Fixing the eyes.
Fixing the eyes. And behind the lens this week, we're taking a look at a new Pentax camera that decided to be crazy and add a button where you don't normally find a button.
2 shutter buttons.
And a dance?
Well, there's 2 buttons. You might as well.
Have a dance?
Yeah.
All right. Well, without further ado, it's time for Off the Press. Hi, everyone. Welcome this week to Off the Press. We got quite a lot of interesting news.
Mostly gaming news today.
Yeah, except for one thing,
Except
which
for
is
one
really,
thing,
really, really exciting.
Which we've been following for literally a year.
It's been a year?
Years. Probably
Yeah, I was gonna
years.
say, I think it's 2 years. Anyway,
Probably, yeah. Anyway, we're going to start something off that's near and dear to your heart. Steam.
though. Ooh.
The game service, not the water thing.
Vapor. Yeah.
That's the one. So Steam came out, I believe, earlier today. Steam has announced a client for iOS and Android,
Neat.
which will allow you to chat with your friends and look at their community stuff, as well as buy games. Which, if you're out and about and there's an awesome Steam sale...
I guess I'm kind of
pretty
happy
good.
they're making an app for it, because I used to just go to the website
Yeah.
and on my phone.
Probably clunky as all hell. And
It was kind of difficult to run, but, you can do it.
Yeah,
Just you needed the
manageable.
patience.
so right now
It's
it's
kind of cool.
still in beta, so if you download the app from your local app store, it'll come up with a screen saying thanks for your interest. We're taking your information just to gauge how many people.
Oh, yeah. So it's kind of like when they did the Steam for Mac beta. So
Yeah.
you're going to get in on that? Well, you won't. But
Yeah. They'll download the client, but they're not going to let you use it.
yeah, basically. I mean, I remember having the beta. It was
Yeah.
much like that and being very excited when it went to. I've not played a single game on my Mac like that. So I did. You know what? It's good, though, because it got a lot of people interested. But just saying, this is kind of interesting because there's been a lot of apps made for games like Team Fortress and things where you do trading.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe this is Steam kind of trying to.
I would like to see that happen.
Like maybe well, it's not going to happen on iOS, but on Android, it is possible that Steam could open up their own little app store / game store, which is.
You know what though? Considering the fact that the Asus Transformer Prime is shown with its debut of playing Team Fortress 2,
Yep.
which, if that's the case, maybe that was a little
Little.
teaser and a little bit of
Yeah.
a maybe this is what we can see, which would be awesome.
We're
So
on to
Valve,
you,
if you're listening, Valve, please do that because
Or even just some really high-end like phone games. That'd be kind of cool too.
yeah, actually anything from the indie games that would be a really great way of getting them out there because a lot of them are actually quite fun
Yep.
and they don't take a lot of power.
It's true.
So you could really help people out here.
Yeah, totally.
And not to mention, being able to play Team Fortress 2 on my tablet would be a lot better than playing on my Mac.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, it would actually be a lot of fun.
And now moving on to the thing that we have been talking about for years.
Iron Sky.
Nazis in space.
Space? Space! Anyway, so, this is a movie about Nazis on the moon, the dark side of the moon, because after the Reich fell, they determined, that the best thing to do instead of going to Venezuela would be to go to the moon. And basically, this is them now unleashing that vengeance.
Now they're coming back.
The only, the only thing is in the trailer, I really like it because they show, the general mad scientist Nazi character, and they confiscated someone because don't forget they've come back to our time, so it's 2011, 2012. They've come back now. They're still using the technology.
Modified 1940s technology.
Yeah, they're still using technology from the 40s. So it's rather funny because they pick up a guy's iPhone is what it looks like, and he says, "Oh, it's my computer." And that's not good. Anyway, watch the trailer.
Yeah, it's a great trailer. So it
gonna be
does
funny.
have an official release date, although very, 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 very limited.
Yeah.
It's going to debut in February of this year at the Berlin International Film Festival.
Which I wish I could fly to Berlin and go watch.
I believe it's the 11th of February. I'm not 100% sure.
Couldn't do that because there's a birthday I gotta go to for that then.
Yeah.
Well, that would suck. Unless maybe, I could coax them into
So
that.
hopefully it does the film circuit and then the film festival circuit, and hopefully it makes its way to Ottawa, because we actually have a pretty decent selection of theaters that play small indie things. So I will be
I think the Bytown would do it.
I would be watching this. Oh my, will I be watching this?
Yeah, because I remember we got Troll Hunter.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Matter of fact, if you're Canadian and watching this, it's on Rogers. Well, if you have Rogers, it's on the Movie Network, or if you have Bell and you've got the Movie Network, it's on Movie Network on demand. Go watch it.
I think we did talk about Troll Hunter on here.
Yeah, it's another one of those neat little indie films. And it's pretty good.
So keep an eye out on in your town small theater, or even some big theaters play a lot of cool indie stuff for this movie, because it definitely looks awesome.
Could be a lot of fun. I see it coming out in summer.
Yep.
And next up, speaking of games getting onto smartphones or services onto smartphones, Microsoft is putting Xbox Live games as well onto iOS and iPads, or onto iOS.
iOS and Android as well.
Oh, really?
Right now, I think it's only announced for iOS, but Android is coming.
Cool.
Basically, this is the exact same type of integration you have with Windows Phone 7.
Oh, okay.
So there are small games that you can get achievements that count towards a gamer score, and you can chat with your friends, do all your Xbox
chattery and
things.
gamery.
Yeah.
I don't play Xbox.
They have released Connectimals for the iOS, which is basically Microsoft's response to Nintendogs. It's like kitties. And
Yeah, but they're a lot
pandas.
creepier looking than the
they're
Nintendo ones. The
crazy.
Nintendo ones actually look cute.
They will maul you to death. It's like tigers and pandas and.
Yeah, but they're
leopards and
overly cute. They're not weaponized cute like Little Big Planet, but they're still overtly cute to the point of being go away, creepy.
Yeah.
It's.
But still,
Yeah.
really exciting news, because a lot of people have Xbox and not a lot of people have Windows Phone 7. So.
Another year from now, you'll find Halo on the iPhone or iPad.
I'm not surprised.
I
It's bound to
wouldn't.
happen.
I wouldn't be too
Yeah,
surprised.
or some kind of side mission for Halo or something.
Yeah, that'd be kind of neat.
That'd be cool, actually. And speaking of Xbox, there's one tiny little thing. It came out this week that Xbox is going to be getting rid of their point system.
Woo!
And, like Sony or Apple or
Taking your real money,
Android,
which is
they'll
smart.
be taking your local currency, which is awesome because you don't have to do mental math and you won't be stuck with 200 points that you can't do anything with.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's actually a really big benefit when they move away from we're gonna use our fake monopoly money to that's worth 20 times as much as what you're actually using in numerical value, not monetary
And
value.
now you won't be taxed twice either.
Hey, that's even better.
Because you get taxed on points, on
Yeah.
Microsoft points. But if you were to buy a gift card like the Sony card, you don't get taxed when you buy it at the store.
Hey,
You only
that's
get
even
taxed
better.
when you buy your game.
Even
Fun
better.
fact. And now, one final thing. Blast from the Past, Command and Conquer. Did
Yeah.
you play that game?
Barely.
Barely?
Not as much as Scott, I think.
I'm only familiar with it because my brother always played it and I had to kick him off our family computer because he was playing it all the damn time.
I remember that.
So now it's available in your browser on HTML5.
Yeah, Quinn was screwing around with it a little earlier. He said that it was only a couple of levels, though.
Yes, it's not the full game. I believe it's the one level demo. But as a demo, it looks really cool.
And the fact that they're able to put it
In the
on there,
browser.
that's actually really, really cool because there could be a lot of those classic games finally coming out. The ones that you really played as a kid or that weren't total crap,
Who needs a Game Boy emulator when you can just play Pokemon?
I found my old Game Boy. Don't need the emulator.
I bought an old Pokemon game recently. They're surprisingly hard to find and still pretty expensive.
Yeah, it's popularity.
Yeah, it's a popular thing. I don't see them very often, so I had to snatch it up when I was at the store.
So,
Anyway.
this little bit of nostalgia brought to you by this week's new releases.
New releases. In the theaters this week, we have The Grey.
What is that about?
I believe it's a thriller spy thing.
Interesting.
I'm not too sure. I've seen the trailer. I don't remember much about it.
Liam Neeson's team of people get hunted down by wolves.
Liam Neeson being a badass. Again.
and that's how he should be.
Yes.
And also in the theater is Man on a Ledge, which is a neat premise for a heist movie, from what I understood. But it's all to prove the guy on the ledge is innocent about something or other, which kind of has these weird vibes of phone booth to me. Which this could still be better. So this could be an interesting one. I'd say keep an eye on it.
And in DVD and Blu-ray this week, we have Real Steel.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots done right.
I don't usually watch sports movies, but when they feature robots, I am so in, and I actually really like this movie.
Boxing is not a sport; it is a science.
Whatever. This was actually a really good movie. Usually sports movies are super cheesy and totally not for me, but I'm like, yeah, I'm really into this. All these characters are really good. That kid, not that annoying.
Yeah.
All right, this is cool.
I didn't actually watch the entire movie, and I
robot
should've.
fighting and CGI, amazing.
Yeah, there's actually a couple really cool looking
Yeah.
robots that I really wish we had this today.
Yeah.
Like, get on it,
Mm-hmm.
Honda. I'm looking at you. Also, is Paranormal Activity 3. I hated Paranormal Activity 1. Number 2 actually wasn't too bad. Number 3, I didn't sit through. But that wasn't because I hated it. It was because I had to leave, and it was pretty good.
Apparently
actually.
it's scarier and better than the other two.
Yeah,
That's what my coworkers have told me.
They seem to be doing a very good improvement per each one that comes out. It kind of sucks that they have to keep releasing them, but at the same time, I think they want to release the good one.
They're bucking the trend. They're like sequels usually suck, but this one's actually getting better.
Yeah, and I'm actually kind of happy about that. I also saw the one that was done by the same guys, Insidious, which that's good. Watch that alone in a dark room with nothing behind you.
No.
Yes.
And finally, in DVD and Blu-ray, we have Godzilla: The Criterion Collection.
Oh God,
Yeah.
I need to go get that.
It's probably gonna be $40 on Blu-ray.
That is fine.
It's gonna be amazing because it's gonna be restored really well, and there's gonna be a whole lot of behind-the-scenes things. And if you've been watching the internet the last week or so, there have been a lot of just stills and photos posted of behind-the-scenes stuff from Godzilla.
You
It's
can
really
see
cool.
the camp in HD.
HD camp guy in a lizard suit. Oh yeah.
On that note, have a good week.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Insight. Starting off with Apple news this week, and the earnings call came up just a couple days ago.
Yep, Apple's fourth quarter of 2011 is over. They had their earnings call, and the numbers were ridiculous.
We'll just sum it up. They're filthy rich.
So their market capital, which is basically what the market judges that company to be worth, is $422 billion.
A lot of money.
Now that's after the earnings call, so it's probably a little bit inflated.
Yeah.
Because stock prices went up right after they announced. By the way, we're raking it in, and they're that's very high. That's more than ExxonMobil on the closing of Wednesday of this week.
Yeah.
And ExxonMobil is one of the biggest oil companies in the world. So that's kind of puts it in perspective for you. Other than that, they've got about $96 billion in cash. So that's not stock holdings, that's not buildings, that's not patents. That's
They could buy a couple countries.
straight up cash.
Just be like, hey, Rwanda, we own you.
You could do a lot with $96 billion in cash.
You could buy out all the pants.
Yeah, it's if you wanted.
Yeah.
And more, and then just keep buying them.
Yeah. I want
That's-
us to start over.
What Tim Cook was feeling
Yeah.
on like a Tuesday or whatever.
I'm sorry for stealing Louis C.K. jokes.
And there, if you want to go, there's tons. Like I think Gizmodo did a thing where if you stacked Apple's cash in $1 bills, it'd be like 1,600 miles
Yeah.
worth of cash.
It's ridiculous.
Which and the $1 bill is like 0.01 inches thick or whatever. So it's a lot of money. On top of that, they produce really big sales. So you're seeing increases in all their products, even the Mac, although that's kind of one of the smaller increases. But things like the iPad's still exploding. The 4S, I think they said.
37 million iPhones were sold.
Yeah. Which is
last year.
which is 5 million more than their most optimistic projection.
They sell more iPhones per day than there are children born in the world per day.
Yeah. It's
Which just means people are breaking their phones way too damn quick.
well, I don't think anyone's breaking their iPhone. I have a feeling people just people like us who end up buying the new iPhone.
Yes.
And some people who are much worse than we are, as well as people switching to the iPhone, especially with the fall of BlackBerry.
Yeah.
iPad sales 15.4 million when they forecasted just about 14 million.
Yeah.
So they're not only doing very well, but they're doing significantly better than their own projections, which is always a good sign.
Now, interestingly, although that they did sell a whole ton of iPads, we have seen a shift in the amount of that market that they're getting.
Yes.
Whereas they used to be about 80 or 90% of the market, this year they're about 56, I believe, 56%.
Yeah.
So we're definitely seeing a shift to more people looking at other brands, but they're still dominating right now.
And I think they'll continue to do so because just like Android's technically dominant in the smartphone market, but I think you have to ignore all those cheap phones.
Yeah.
But then you make the argument, should we ignore all the old iPhones? Because it's more or less the same thing. But, Android's done a lot this year, but Apple hasn't released the iPad 3 yet.
True.
And
everyone's still waiting for the iPhone 5.
Well, everyone's always waiting for the iPhone N+1, right?
Yes.
So I think the difference is they finally in Android caught up to the iPad 2. I think we're seeing devices that are just as good as the iPad 2 in terms of snappiness, processing power, design. Then the iPad 3 is going to come out in a couple months, probably. This year for sure. And then they got to play catch up again, as opposed to the Transformer Prime's awesome. We love it. It's not quite out yet. They had shipping problems, but it's competing with the iPad 2.
Yes.
It will not outperform an iPad 3, provided they do any kind of upgrading to it whatsoever. So as long as they can keep that edge, even if it's a smaller edge, it's always good.
For sure.
Things that aren't so great, RIM had a change up as well this week, which was kind of surprising. It was very weird timing, I felt. So what happened is the co-CEOs, Jim Basile and Mike Lizardis, have stepped aside.
Yes.
Now, willingly. Apparently, I doubt that. And the new guy, Thorsten Heinz, has stepped in. I think he was a COO. Yeah, he was a COO of RIM for a while. Not super long, like 3 or 4 years. And he has a background. He's German. He used to work for Siemens. So Siemens is a really big deal, and they're a fairly successful company. But Thorsten Heinz is kind of a quiet, unimpressive kind of guy in terms of, when they stepped aside after our tradings dropped RIM stock, when they had the call introducing Mr. Heinz as the new CEO, the stock plummeted another 10%.
Yeah.
He's not. RIM needs someone new and exciting.
Well, and the
drive the
funny
company.
thing, too, is that Mike Lizardis is now chair of, I believe they call it
An innovation committee or something
yeah,
like
which
that.
really means if Mike Lizardis is chair of an innovation committee, no innovation will happen.
Well, that's the other thing that I feel bad for Mr. Heinz, because he's going into the position where the founders are still there.
Yeah.
And RIM was a very successful company, and they definitely pioneered the smartphone industry. You can't really argue with that. But Jim Basile and Mike Lizardis were big forces in RIM's development, but they're still here. Jim Basile is still on the board of directors, and Mike Lizardis is in this innovation committee.
Yeah.
So, they're not technically at the office every day, saying you do this, but for him trying to now run the company as his own is going to be very challenging, I think, with those two.
Because, they're still going to be looking over his shoulder going, well, Now,
the argument could be made that it's good that Mike Lizardis is now not in charge of businessy matters, because he founded RIM because he invented the BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Technically. He's a very technical guy, and he doesn't really do, as we've seen, very well with PR or human resources and money. So possibly he's still got some good ideas in there. Who knows if he has more time to devote to the technical side of things as opposed to the business side. There could be something good coming out of that. I'd like to stay hopeful. A lot of people are like, well, Michael Lizardis is an idiot. But, he did invent the BlackBerry, more or less. So, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt, I think, there.
Well, a friend of mine, Eric Portelance, wrote a tweet saying, while Apple and Android are going to make a computer in your pocket, BlackBerry is sitting around making communication tools. And that's really it, is BlackBerry hasn't changed the paradigm that they work in. They go, we make phones, our phones are pretty good, but they're nothing more than phones. And everyone else is striving to make a device that does more than one thing.
That's a very interesting perspective, because if you look at the way RIM's devices are structured, that nails it on the head.
Yeah.
Because they're built for efficient communication. That's why they still have hard keyboards.
Yeah.
Talk to whoever you want. A hard keyboard is better.
Yeah.
It's faster and it's more comfortable.
And people still like their email on BlackBerries.
Absolutely. I like the email client on iOS.
Yeah.
But I've used email on a BlackBerry, and I can't say I really like one better than the other.
But the problem becomes that they don't push beyond that border.
No, and I think that's fine if they actually innovate in the business communications field, which they haven't in a long time, which is why we were excited for that the release on the other platforms.
Yeah.
So hopefully RIM will focus. He made out, we need to do better marketing. I'm going to hire people for marketing, and I want to focus on what the consumer wants. I'm like, you shouldn't probably do that. It's a little late for RIM to win over the consumer market, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. A lot of people want to jump ship from their BlackBerries to an iPhone or an Android, and there's options coming in the mobile industry to allow them to work in a business environment properly. So there's becoming less and less reasons to stay with BlackBerry, and those users are already frustrated. So even if you come out and you're like, well, here's this really awesome product, they'd be like, I'm just done at this point. And they're not going to want to look back.
No, and I think there's an argument to be made that there's a very successful place for RIM to be in the market, but I don't think it's making consumer handsets. Continue making them because it can't cost them anything to develop these new phones. No. They're the same phones.
Let's change the shade of black to less black.
Like the new Bold is like, we slapped a touch screen on the old Bold like 3 models ago and sold it again.
Yeah.
Like that can't be expensive development. So keep selling the phones for anyone's going to buy them.
Our RAM just keeps getting cheaper because we never increase it.
Yeah, I mean, keep selling them. I'm sure they make money on every BlackBerry sold, but innovate somewhere else to keep your company alive.
Yeah.
Hopefully Mr. Hines will do that. He's got a big background in more corporate stuff with Siemens, which is also a communications company. So maybe, who knows?
Speaking of cell phones, though, the Nokia Lumia 710.
Lumia, as Sam likes to correct me.
Yes, Lumia 710 is coming to Rogers very soon.
Yes.
But what's really interesting about it is the pricing.
Yeah. Extremely interesting. So the Lumia 710 is kind of the baby entry model of the Lumia series. Like we talked about the 910, I believe it was, with the bigger screen and stuff that I really wanted. But the thing that makes the Lumia 710 so exciting, off contract, unlocked from Rogers, $255.
Which, as someone was pointing out to me, as a hardware spec phone, it's better than most Android phones that cost $100 or $200 more than that out of contract.
Yeah.
So it's finally a point where we're like, you can get a pretty good phone for a pretty reasonable price, completely unlocked.
It's a good-looking phone.
Yep.
It's Nokia, so the hardware probably lasts quite a while.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with Windows Phone 7. It's very usable, very approachable.
It's the little brother of the two Lumia phones, but it's still not a slouch. 720p video, decent screen size, decent hardware.
And if you want to sign a contract for 2 years, which is bizarre in the Canadian marketplace, is $100.
Yep.
Very approachable. You sign for the 3 years, which is the standard, $50.
Yeah.
That's if someone says I want a cheap smartphone, tell them to get this, because it's better than all the little crappy Samsungs for Android, all the crappy little HTCs. They make very good, expensive phones.
For sure.
The Galaxy Nexus is
great. If you're spending $150 on contract on an Android phone, you're likely getting something decent.
Yeah, but if you're spending $50 and that's all you want to spend under $100 on your contract, buy the Lumia 710. It's going to perform way better and look way nicer than a lot of the cheap Android phones. And that's coming out in February on Rogers. So I think finally a Windows phone that'll sell.
Absolutely.
Because it actually looks good.
And I'm glad to see Nokia back in the smartphone market.
Finally.
Yeah.
Back on the shelf in Canada at all.
For sure.
And last but not least, we're talking McDonald's failing at social media.
Which, really isn't surprising.
Not even a little bit. McDonald's decided to delve into the social media world to do their own kind of ad campaign on Twitter, which on the surface of it sounds pretty good. McDonald's is trying to rebrand themselves right now, again, like for the 5th time this decade.
Because now they're going to be McCafe plus Awesomeness Espresso Mocha Java Hut.
Yeah, and you can tell because all their restaurants are turning like red and black on the outside now.
They're getting very metro.
Their menus are like black.
Yes.
I took a friend into a McDonald's who hadn't been there in 6 years, and he's like,
"Where am I?
Can I still get a McDouble?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's cool." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
As long as you ain't taking away my McNuggets.
That's right. So they tried to do this whole marketing thing on Twitter. So they have a decent presence on Twitter. I think a couple 100,000 followers on the McDonald's account, which is fine. And they were pushing hashtags because hashtags been huge lately, especially for pushing along. It's usually not advertising.
I was at the movies last night, and I think 3 of the trailers ended with the website link, the Facebook page, and then the hashtag to talk about it on Twitter. So it's definitely a popular marketing tool.
It's way more easy to penetrate Twitter with a hashtag than with following an account, because other people can add to the conversation without having to retweet and things like that.
For sure.
So I think finally people are realizing what hashtags are for.
So McDonald's decided to use 2 hashtags. One of them went fairly well.
It was kind of a, I can't remember exactly what the hashtag was. It was more like a healthy choices type thing.
Yeah.
And apparently that was not widely used, but went fairly positively. The other one was McD Stories.
Which ended up backfiring terribly.
Because I'm pretty sure everyone you know has a bad story about a McDonald's.
I know a guy who decided to take a crap right on one of the tables one time.
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah.
And that
There's
would
a
be,
McD story.
and you know what? That's going to get more popular on Twitter than I had a really good big extra today.
yeah.
You know, or my grandma used to take me to McDonald's all the time. Like, no, that's, you know, I don't see the appeal when things like, I used to eat at McDonald's every day for lunch, gained 45 pounds, I stopped, and have lost almost 30 thus far. McD Stories.
Yeah.
That's that positive. You know, and there's lots of them. You can search on any of those crazy Twitter search engines for things like that, and it just went so badly. That McDonald's, in fact, pulled it all together.
Yeah, so, you know, good attempt, but I don't think you realize the world of hurt you guys open yourselves up to when you decide to do something as ambiguous as McD Stories.
Especially when you're a brand with such history and penetration throughout the globe as McDonald's.
Yeah.
Even if there's nothing wrong with your company at all.
There is something wrong with your company.
Well, and people have been in all your stores all across the world, so you know they're not going to have necessarily good stories, especially since they're open 24 hours.
Yeah.
And are frequented by college students, drunk college students. So those are more entertaining than oh, McNuggets are on sale or something. Sweet coupons,
Sweet coupons, although the coupons are pretty
Yeah,
sweet.
they are. You save $45.
Yeah. So I mean, at McDonald's, I think you've learned a lesson.
Hopefully you stay away from Twitter.
Or stay on Twitter, but just phrase your hashtags a lot less ambiguous.
Very specific.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think of our new McNuggets.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's probably not even good.
No.
No.
Just.
Yeah, just.
You know what? I don't think there's any hashtags that can really save them from a possible backlash of this one time and then vomit all over the wall. It's not gonna happen.
Good things at McDonald's.
No, that could end badly too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that brings us to the end of Tech Insight for this week.
It's kind of alive! No, it's still dead. Oh.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Mad Science. We're gonna start something off this week, or we're gonna start it off this week with something medical. I can do an intro.
Yeah, well, we're here again, finally. Still no robots. There was going to be one, but it was lame. And I'm really sad to say it was lame because it was a Canadian content piece.
Canadian robots are lame.
But
Because there's not enough Asians working on the team, obviously.
yeah, I think that is it.
Yeah. Anyway, on to something much, much cooler.
And less racist. Stem cells. The controversial research, especially with embryonic ones. Well, it turns out that they can actually fix your eyes, which Quinn might actually need soon.
He totally does need that.
So it turns out what you can actually do, or they've done the research,
Yep.
they've done a little bit of proof. It's going to clinical trials.
Oh, awesome.
50,000, if I'm not mistaken, patients are going to be undergoing the trial, which is actually pretty good. Basically, what they're doing is they're using, of course, according to the article, the most controversial of stem cells, which is embryonic, which they really probably don't have to use. It's just probably what they have on hand. And what they actually have to do is go into your eye and insert them behind your retina. So the thing is, this is for incurable blindnesses.
Is this for people that are completely blind, mostly blind, or...?
This is pretty much for all of it.
Okay.
So if you've had any kind of retinal damage, or if it's just degraded over time, it just they can actually use the stem cells to help repair the damage. So right now it's looking like it's not 100% fixed, but if they keep doing the treatment, it will be eventually completely cured.
Wow.
So depending on your age, you are laughing. Otherwise, well,
Some vision's better than no vision.
exactly. And personally, I'd rather wear the Coke bottle glasses if I can see again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a small price to pay, really. So they've been working on this for a while.
Yep.
This is coming out of University of Bristol this time. And they are the closest, and, well, they're giving it a hell of a try, and hopefully it works out.
All right.
Because this needs to actually work. And then on another environmental note.
Yes.
Oh, I'm actually sorry. I mixed up my stories. That wasn't out of University of Bristol. This one's out of University of Bristol, which is the magnetic soap that,
Yeah, that-
was kind of neat that came out
That
of
kind
it.
of broke out about 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago.
Yeah, it was in the news pretty recently.
Now, how does this work? Because when you say magnetic soap, I think of like a black bar of ivory soap. That's
Well, you're not entirely wrong. Basically, how this works is they have water with dissolved iron salts.
all right.
Lots of dissolved iron
I was like
salts.
halfway there.
Yeah.
That's, all right.
And essentially, what they found was it, of course, is much denser, so it sinks. But in the presence of a magnetic field, it will defy gravity and rise up towards the field.
Oh, clever.
So it becomes attracted to the magnet. So it's kind of like looking at ferrofluid,
Yeah.
except what they've added is essentially surfactant and other binding agents as well. So as it's rising through the
It
oil,
scoops up the bad stuff and
scoops it up,
All right.
and it clumps together. It's actually really, really neat. They're coming up with a whole bunch of uses for it because they want to use it for essentially the oil natural disasters.
yeah,
So there would be no BP
yeah. Ship falls over, dumps a bunch of
oil and crude. They could actually go in with this, and I envisioned in my head as they have a whole lot of this like stuff
Yeah.
everywhere, and then they have a big like wrecking yard
yeah,
magnetic crane just come down and pick up this great big glob.
great big glob of like cans and oil and fish.
Yeah, whatever happens to get caught in it.
Yeah, you know, you
Uh,
probably don't want to do that near a shipwreck.
Well, actually, the funny thing is though,
Some weird
is
stuff could happen.
some weird stuff could happen, but this is so far a lot safer on the environment.
All right.
They can get more of it out and a lot more of the oil out. They were very surprised at that. They weren't looking to do that, but it's now turned into something that could be used for very good
Yeah.
environmental causes, especially when that happens. And it's just kind of neat.
It's a really cool concept.
Yeah. I mean, ferrofluid we've seen before, but instead of using, iron shavings, oil, and some other surfactant, we're using water, iron salts, and, well, actually, even a little bit of normal soap. And it's actually allowing it to collect things, which is kind of cool. So that kind of wraps it up for science. It's kind of short this week.
Oh,
Like I said, Canada has made a robot, and they're putting their foray into more anatomically correct, more mobile.
I don't want more anatomically correct robots. That's just weird.
I think it's a German invention, that one.
Germans.
Either way, that wraps it up for science, and hopefully we can come up with something new for next week.
It's time for Behind the Lens for this week, and starting it off, a kind of different take, literally, on a point-and-shoot camera.
Yeah, so, point and shoot cameras are not something that tends to see a whole lot of innovation.
No.
It's like, hey, we'll add some more zoom, we'll add some more megapixels.
Especially when you talk about the big few camera companies.
We'll make the screen a little bigger, that kind of thing. Well, Pentax has decided to think slightly outside the box.
We say slightly, because this is not a new feature to cameras.
No, it's just been doubled up a bit.
Yes.
So the new VS20 from Pentax now features a second shutter and zoom button on the side of the camera, so that when you put the camera in portrait mode, you can still take a picture and zoom.
Now, personally, with a camera that size, I don't have a problem using the existing shutter and zoom buttons.
I feel like ergonomically you don't gain much here.
In fact, I think that might be hard. Like, I'd have to hold it like this.
Yeah. I don't know that this was really well thought out.
Because, when you buy the grips for your SLRs, which have, the extra battery as well as the extra shutter button, it makes sense because that camera's heavy, so to hold it in the other orientation, the weights should
You're
be
not doing
differently.
this all the time.
Yeah.
But when you're holding a point and shoot and just go like this, it's really not that hard. And then you'd have to kind of hold it like this. I don't get it.
I'd have to just do this or something. I don't know.
But
It is different, though, and that's...
yeah, I mean, good on Pentax for being like, let's put a second shutter and zoom button on our camera because no one else is doing it.
And it by no means does it make the camera less usable.
No. Well, I don't know. Be like, oh, I keep tapping the other zoom with my rest of my hand.
Maybe it's got a thing in it, so it only has one.
That's thinking way too clever for Pentax.
Yeah, it might be.
Otherwise, it's a pretty standard camera. It's 16 megapixel. It's a 20x optical zoom, compact size camera, but not the smallest camera to have 20x optical zoom. So not breaking any thing here. It's 3-inch LCD screen, although it does feature an anti-glare coated 460K LCD screen, which is pretty nice. And the anti-glare coating is not something we typically hear talked about. So maybe this is actually better than the traditional. Our LCDs are better in bright sunlight than they used to be.
It's the traditional glare coating.
Yeah. So it's coming in at around $250 US, I believe. Yeah. So shipping soon, I would imagine. So I mean, if you've been dying to have that shutter button somewhere else.
Well, and it also has an extra tripod socket,
Oh, does it?
which is kind of cool.
I didn't even read that part. There you go.
That makes it slightly cooler if you ever put your point and shoot in portrait on a tripod.
You know, they have this thing called a ball head, and the camera just goes sideways. You
I don't
know,
know what to
whatever.
say. But that, at least it's a complete design.
I suppose.
Just
a round of applause for Pentax for trying something new.
I think so.
All right.
Even though apparently Kodak released a camera with that a little while ago. Who knows?
But no one cares about Kodak.
True.
Even less than they care about Pentax.
It's much less now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on, some new companies decided to join Micro Four Thirds. So Tokina and Tamron have jumped on board, which means now the three major third-party lens manufacturers have all decided to join the Micro Four Thirds consortium. Again, that doesn't mean they're actually going to put lenses out for it. It just means that they've decided that they want the specs, and maybe they'll put some lenses out for it. But I think once they realize that Sigma actually brought out some lenses for it, they're kind of like, I guess we should make some
They
lenses.
probably should compete.
Yeah,
in that
let's
market. Yeah.
guys, let's make some lenses for Micro Four Thirds. All right.
But
cool.
I think it'll be nice to get all, provided they do start making company lenses for that size. It'll be nice to see, more than just what Panasonic's making for their cameras and Sony's making for their cameras.
Yeah, and I was pretty disappointed with what Sigma brought out, so I'm glad that Tokina and Tamron are stepping up, because maybe that means we'll actually have some options. Whereas if Tokina and Tamron just make copies of what Sigma brought out, but in their known names, I'm going to burn down all their buildings.
Hold them
It's
to that.
it's just, yeah.
We're looking at you, Takina.
Speaking of consortiums, iFi is pissed off because SD kind of went and trumped all over its technology with their wireless standard that they made.
Yeah, so we talked about that at CES time a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago. And basically, it is iFi, but they're standardizing it for the SD spec.
Yeah.
Which iFi, who is part of the SD consortium because they make SD cards, is livid.
Yeah.
Understandably so.
So apparently the rules are that when something like this comes into play, it needs to be sort of publicly available for 60 days and then officially launched as a standard, so that anyone can sort of not veto it, but contest the technology or something like that. And iFi is kind of like, you just went and said this publicly, at CES without telling anybody, and you basically have stolen our technology. And so they're kind of upset because that was their thing,
And to be fair,
now they don't have a thing.
that company no longer has any relevance.
It's true.
Because as soon as other companies who make SD cards start making SDs to that spec, what's the point in buying an iFi card?
For sure.
Especially since I guarantee you the stand will be easier to use because we've seen mixed successes with iFi cards.
Yeah. So, on one hand, I completely get and believe that iFi is justified in being
Yeah.
pissed off at the SD consortium. On the other hand, I don't really care because iFi's Wi-Fi cards are shitty.
Yeah.
And
no.
so,
And I feel bad for not caring, but
yeah.
I wanted them, I want it well done in like a SanDisk card or something.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
So it's like, I feel bad for you, iFi, but I want something better anyways, so.
Go to court, see what happens. SD will still make the cards as a standard, so
They'll do it.
yeah.
And last on the docket today, we are talking about Lomo Kino again. We brought this up, which was the little analog film camera, so you could shoot 35mm film. And then there was a little viewer that you could watch it back. But then apparently people were kind of like, well, all I can do is watch it in my viewer,
By myself.
which means I can't send it to my grandma, which upsets me. And I don't have a scanner, nor do I have the intelligence to scan a bunch of negatives. And
let
then
alone put them together.
and then compile them into a time lapse of
Yeah.
sorts to play like a movie. So basically Lomo Kino's like, all right, cool, we get that you're lazy. So what we're going to do is we're going to invent an adapter that allows you to attach your viewer to your iPhone so that your iPhone can then just, with the regular video mode, record what the viewer is seeing.
Which I imagine you could do with some tape.
Yeah, probably. However, they have made the adapter reasonable. It's only $25 for the adapter, and you're guaranteed a proper fitment and all that kind of stuff. I just find it ironic now that it's like the analog kids are like, oh, this is really great, but I can't show it to anybody.
But no one can see my greatness.
And now I need to make it digital, which really defeated the purpose of shooting an analog in the first place.
Check out my analog footage on Vimeo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's important to note that this does not allow you to shoot Lomo Kino style with your iPhone.
No.
You have to have the camera and the viewer, and
And
then
the
attach
adapter.
the viewer to the adapter.
Or some tape.
Yeah, so you still have to go out and get film, and shoot the film, and process the film, and then record it on your phone.
Yes. That's
Or you
correct.
can spend 99 cents on the App Store and get the 8mm camera app, which does the same thing, just digitally. It seems a lot more effective to me.
Well, and especially since once you record it with the iPhone camera, really, the analog footage versus something that just has a post filter on it, I don't know that we're going to see that much difference.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're really keen eye into it, but if you showed me both things, I'd be going,
If you just replicated the effect.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have a feeling by that point where you know recorded it to the film and then played it back through something that probably doesn't have that good of a lens on it into an iPhone. But if you really want to distribute your sweet
And you just, really love shooting analog.
and to be honest, if you have one of these cameras, you probably already have an iPhone.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And really, at that point, $25, you would have spent that on a case anyways. So,
Think of it as a case. Leave it on your iPhone.
well, it seems rather bulky.
That way you're always ready.
That seems like a bad idea. It'll never fit in your pocket this way.
Well, not with the player.
No, but even look at this adapter. It
Belt
fits
clip.
No, that's a really bad looking belt clip.
Might be hard to have a conversation. Bring your
You'd
headphones.
be texting down like
Bring your
this.
headphones. Yeah.
It'd be difficult. Well, that brings us to the end of Behind the Lens for this week. And that brings us to the end of the show this week. As per usual, if you want to get a hold of us, you can reach us at Twitter at almost_Friday.
Or if you want to use email, you can do so at contact@almostfridayshow.com.
You can look us up on Facebook with that search bar, type in the Almost Friday Show, like us, get new information when we have new
Do we have a
episodes. out.
timeline?
I don't know if pages have a timeline.
If we have a timeline, you can tell us that on one of the other contact ways.
Yeah, don't tell us on Facebook because that'd just be cliche. Tell us about Facebook
On
through
Twitter.
through Twitter.
I think Mark Zuckerberg will like it better that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you can come with us on our adventure to find Apple's stash of $99 billion.
You're not supposed to tell people about that.
Oh, shit.